Okay, there we go. Now we get the counter up. Oh, I know no one's here yet because more than likely the alerts haven't gone off. But to anyone that rewatches this later, hello everyone. Hello, hello, hello. It has been an astronomically hectic last month. I can't even begin to describe to you. Actually, can't begin to describe to you because some of it is confidential. As you see, my desk got left to Calliope, who is currently sitting in my shirt. And I can't show you because she is stretching it so far up that it's inappropriate for YouTube guidelines. But hello, everyone. I see people coming in now. Sup, Ka? Quiet Chris, how are you, darling? How are you, love? It has been an insane month and a half. And it hasn't stopped. I thought it did, but it hasn't. My dad has fallen again. Been very dizzy. As a matter of fact, his girlfriend, God bless her, has ensured that we get him to the VA. You're alive. I know that sensation. I get that. I get that. Chaco. I am trying, Quiet Chris. Genuinely trying. It has been a lot this last month and a half. A lot. I just don't know how to phrase it. That's all I can say. It's been a lot. And, like, for instance, the other day, in one day, there was a mishap at work. One of the repairmen, because we're repairing one of the restaurants, we're updating it completely. There was a mishap at work. The dumbass that they hired to do some of the repairs goes and installs a window, not only backwards, but it looks like he chewed out. If you know anything about windows, guys, there's this flushing on the outside that prevents rain from coming in. He decided that side could go on the inside. Yeah. And because it didn't quite fit, instead of saying, I didn't get the right size, let me go back down 5 minutes down the street to Lowe's and get the right size window. Nope. He cut it, made it completely unreturnable. We love that. As I'm leaving that restaurant to go to the other restaurant, Starman calls me. He got in a fender bender with my boss's extra car. So, like, how do you fuck up back? I don't know. Chaco, I don't know. The man's a special case. We've had some good stuff happen this month, like, obviously. The dogs are still suffering from that massive yeast infection. I've been fighting that. The fleas, I keep battling them. They keep coming back. Just, one thing after another happening. But there is good things. Oh my God, Calliope, don't do that. Please don't. She gets a hair across her ass if something just disturbs her out of nowhere. She starts launching. She's been destroying this desk, by the way, guys. Calm down, ma'am. You were just in my shirt. She's been destroying this desk. The other day, I get home from work late after dramatic day at work, and I hear bang, 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 crash, broken glass. So you guys remember how I usually have that pink candle over here? She drop-kicked it off the desk, and it shattered into a million pieces. She keeps moving, like, everything on this desk to the point where I had to do this. See that stack of stuff? I had to do that, and she just ran off the desk because I'm getting loud. I had to do that in order to stop her from drop kicking the TV next. It's been one of those weeks. However, excuse me. The Starbucks did get a delivery last night. Rachel sent me a little care package. And I can't tell you everything that was in it because some of it was not even for me. And I can't say who it was for because I know these people watch my streams. So I want it to be a surprise for them. But there was a couple of things that were definitely in it for me. Including a Labubu. And I feel like you all conspired with Rachel to get me that. It was pickles. But I now am the proud owner of a Labubu. Was it the Minotaur dildo, the one from that novel you loved? You mean the one that Edie loved? Yes, I now own a Labubu. I blame Hunty. I blame Hunty. Linda! Linda. So yes, it's been a tumultuous. If you guys want to know the full story of what happened with my dad, I can tell you guys all that. I'd rather throw money at you. Why would you say that at all, Chaco? Why would you choose now to bring that up? I've purposely not brought up a single money problem, ma'am. I purposely kept that part out of the conversation, Chaco. At least it wasn't a creepy doll. Oh, wait. Yeah. But hello, Linda. Hello, Chaco. I know that I see a bunch of people here, but I don't know how many are here. Like, I don't know who amongst the populace is here. But so I will start off with, so they figured out what is wrong with me physically. Oh! What's wrong, Linda? I can detail my story in a minute. What happened? Hello, Bubby. Bubelito. So tell us, Linda, what happened, honey? Rachel also sent me something else that's really, really cool. But great. Hold on. I've heard of that. I believe it's named Graves, not for what happens to you, but who the guy was that Graves disease. Hypothyroid is Chaco, for fuck's sake. Chaco! I'm not looking. I'm not looking. Why is these fighting immune system, these antibiotics? So have they got treatments for you, honey? I'm not looking at that, Chaco, the giant bright pink button in front of me. Get cucked by the phone! Hello, Jade. I see your protest. Hello, Natanya. Thank you for the 26 months. Okay, good. So there is everyone. Are we throwing? Fuck's sake, Linda. Everyone, let us throw a. What would be a good representation of? Put a heart in the chat for Linda, who has at least found something to help her. Are they getting you on treatments, Linda? Have they started that already? I'm ignoring that statement. I am ignoring that statement for everybody. It'll only make you, it'll make you not. Labubu, don't make me do it. Don't. Thank you, Chaco, for the 26 months. I will make the Labubu this entire stream. Don't make me do it. Have a great day, Quiet Chris. Yeah, I can't stay long either, guys, because that's what I was going to get to. This will not be a long stream because I had to help bring my dad to the doctor today. Protest, you means my designated seat box. Your profile picture, honey. People that are using Clippy right now are protesting the AI in, I think, video games. At the vet with our puppy. Oh, she got a little tip with her sister. Got an owie on her cheek. Oh, no. Is she okay? The baby. Try me, bitch. I have more money. 3 options. Meds to destroy thyroid functions or removal. They got my gallbladder. They're getting my thyroid. On meds now. Still shaking, but my numbers are better. Plus my liver good. Good. The best part about finding out what's wrong and is truly when you finally get something that makes it feel better. And it's like, whenever that happens, out of nowhere, you're like, oh my God, it could have been this easy all along. Like, seriously. Yeah, I was going to say, you might as well have them take out the thyroid at that point. If it's just going to fuck you up even more, I'm fine with removal of stuff. But I will keep you in my prayers, Linda, honey. Yes, we are Clippy. We are Legion. Put on the mask, Starson. I don't want to change my profile pictures. It's a pain in the ass. If you guys haven't noticed, I never change my profile pictures. I settled that photo of me on YouTube I took in 2018. And I haven't changed that damn YouTube photo since 2018. I am about to do it now. That photo was my, like, everyone has one iconic photo of themselves. And that was my iconic photo. And I'm never letting that bitch go. No filters, no nothing. Just pure Maine sunshine and good makeup. And I was thrilled. And the only makeup I had on that day, you can see it in there, was a little eyeshadow, eyeliner, and lipstick. I want to try to keep removal as a whole. Well, then... 2018, she's a dinosaur. Fuck you. So, timeline of what happened to my dad. That is also why I don't have anything to draw out. I did try. Would I try to draw? Is it appropriate for everybody? Let me see. Nope. It's not the worst, but it's for me. Anyways, this chat is totally awesome. When I'm famous, I will remember you all. Listen, you are famous here. You are famous here. Clippy strong together. We love you, Linda. We don't want I don't want anyone in my audience to have to go through that bullshit. And, you know, a lot of you know that I very much still take hard how my mother passed away. But what's crazy, one, look at how nice my hands look. You know why? Because I did my whole treatment for the first time in a month last night. And look how nice my nails look. Thank you. Anyways, so my mom, when she got sick, she went into the hospital. She went into the same hospital that my dad went into. Okay? What's crazy is when my dad fell, so July 16th, my dad fell. I don't know if I told you guys or not. I really haven't streamed that much since then. But here's what I will tell you. How it went down is I was at work. My dad was at home by himself. He had been using the bathroom. And how my dad's house works, I think I told you guys this, but just in case not. This is his front doorway right here, okay? And there's a window here, and right here is his bathroom. There's a wall separating it, right? And there's a window on his porch right there. So you walk up the porch, right here is the window to his bathroom, okay? His girlfriend came to see him around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, all right? And she could hear him through the window calling for her Because in here was the toilet right here, and here's the tub. Dad had gotten up from the toilet. He got dizzy, tried to grab onto a towel rack in front of him, fell, and slammed his head in the tub right here, and was passed out for at minimum an hour. Okay? By the time she got to him, because this was around 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning, she didn't get to him till 5. He was still there. Starman, when he got there, because what happened was, she calls me. I'm an hour away at work. I am the furthest away. She called me first because my dad said, call Cassandra. She's the closest. So she calls me because I live only a street or two down from my dad. You guys can ask Moon. She saw. And when, whatchamacallit, when she called me, I then called Starman and my brother because they were actually much closer than me. Starman got there first, and my father tried to say that you're not allowed to call 911, to which Starman said, yeah, fuck you, we're calling 911. And EMTs come. EMTs take my dad. We get over to the emergency room. My dad spends a week in the hospital. Now, here's the problem. When my mom got taken to the same hospital, she had fallen in the same bathroom in nearly the identical fashion. The only difference was she was not home alone. And the only reason she went to the hospital is because I had to come in there and convince her, because she was not in her right state of mind. Mom, you gotta go. You gotta go to the hospital. And because my brother, my father, and the EMTs were all berating her, and she was getting more and more stubborn. Well, I crawled in, I got right in front of her, and I told her she had to go. She proceeded to spend a week and a couple of days in that hospital. Sage the bathroom, right? Oh, because I was crying. I was crying the whole way home because I was like, this can't be happening. This is already history repeating itself. They go to the exact same hospital. And these people proceeded to bring a diabetic man high carb, sugary foods. They kept overdoing his sugars. And where he had fallen, he hit his left shoulder. That spot got bigger and redder and more swollen and more sore throughout that week. Now, I lack a medical degree, but it took a week in of me saying, hey, is anyone going to check the potential infection on my dad? Because dad was getting weaker. Dad was getting weaker as he was in the hospital. He was walking less. He was sleeping more. He was losing strength. And I was getting pissed. They would wake him up throughout the night for labs that were not needed. So they would deprive him of sleep, deprive him of proper nutrients. They didn't try to get him to eat. They didn't try to reason with him on what to eat. And they didn't take him around for any physical therapy. Okay? So they didn't try to get him to move and nothing. Okay? The problem is, and the difference is that when this happened to my mother, my dad was in charge, and I was informed to mind my own business because I would get too mean and I would ruin everything. And the problem is that this particular hospital, because all hospitals are private businesses, they can absolutely bar you, and they have done it to other people. They can bar you from getting any help. Okay? They can pretty much blacklist you from all of the types of hospitals in the area. Okay? So, mind you, on top of this, my dad's in the hospital. His legs were so swollen, he had cankles, and they were red. Now, diabetics typically get brown markings on the bottom of their legs, right? My dad's brown markings were all bright red. It took me complaining to the doctor, and I was because oh no, this isn't anything to do with America. This depends on the state you're in, Chaco. Because I can tell you right now, if I was back in Rhode Island, none of this would have happened. My dad would have gotten the best care. But because we're in the South and because we are in a very southern town, we get what we get. Okay? So, and plus on top of that, my dad's a veteran. So, depends on instead of waiting in a line like in most other countries, the only difference is that if you're on government care, depends on what kind of government care, how much they care. And also, because they have such a volume of patients, again, it all depends. I don't know what's wrong with NC, but it gets better. It took me, while I was on the phone with my dad's girlfriend, it took me saying, because she put me on speakerphone, told me to be quiet and listen, so I did. They were talking about releasing my dad in this state to let him go back home, okay? And I informed them he should not go back home yet because he still has A, B, and C problems. And they were like, well, what do you mean? And I said, his legs are bright red, and you haven't checked there's an infection on his shoulder. And I'm on the phone. I hear him go, well, let me take a look. Oh, yeah, would you look at that? That looks like it could be infected. We could be looking at a skin infection. How was my father in your facility for a week? You checked on him morning, noon, and night. You never let the man sleep. None of you noticed the fucking infection, you absolute mongoloids? Or are you serious? So, hold on. Mom, I need advice on being mean to children when they're being bad in my class. Be mean. They're late middle school, early high school. Be mean. Remind them that the only person they're failing is themselves, and they're already doing a spectacular job. So, they can do whatever the hell they want. It doesn't affect you. Go ahead. Yeah, you're sure showing me how tough and funny you are. Go ahead. Fail yourselves. Mommy and daddy will bail you out. Sure. See, I don't know the kids enough, but you got to do something personal. You got to cut them to the fucking quick. Detention don't do shit. That's a vacation for kids. What you have to do is remind them that you're doing your fucking job. And if they don't like it, cool. You still get paid. The only one they're hurting is themselves. So keep at it. Oh, that's not a guilt trip. That's just reality. That's letting them know they're utter failures. Shame the shits. I love my little niece, but if she was in the chat, she'd tell you, that's how I handle my nieces and nephews. When they fuck up, I tell them the God's honest truth. I say, listen, I will do all I can for you. But if you're gonna, my father has a saying, don't hand me the bullets. Don't hand me the bullets. And that's the thing. They don't want you to tell on them or not. Fine, stop handing me the bullets. They don't want to stand in front of a firing squad. Because I don't know what they're doing. I don't know the level. I don't know all of that. This is too vague. Put it that way. This is all too vague. I would have to go for computer apps, watching a Chris Henson video for the internet safety stuff at some point. Show them the real, raw, and upsetting stuff. But the problem is kids don't take shit seriously, especially if they were not raised in a home that holds them accountable, then they have no reason to take anything seriously. Lots of disrupting for dumb or irrelevant questions. I mean, you could tell them straight out, be like, is there a reason you're using your room temp IQ to ask these dumbass questions? Because that's what I'd be like. You have to show it doesn't get under your skin, but rather show them the absolute, like, because that's how I take this wind out of kids' sails. That's how I've always done it. I'd look at them and be like, okay, and? Okay, and? Because that's what I would do. That is what I would do. I would literally... Did you graphic design and computer art refinement, and 2 art clubs? Here's what I will tell you. Kids that do that, they do it to get a rise out of you. They do it to get anger out of you. So what you have to do is give them absolutely boring responses. They might be ADHD, but I'll tell you right now, as a child with ADHD that was in those kind of classes, I believe they're just trying to be the funny ones. I believe that when they do that, because Hunty comes off as somebody that will give to play off that squirrely responses. She'll kind of get flustered. She might get a little or look confused or give a really funny reaction. And that could be why they're doing it. So what you have to do is make yourself completely unfunny. You have to make yourself boring. And you know what's a great way of showing it? The black teacher from 10 Things I Hate About You. Because he had a great way of handling shit. But if you can send them out, or a great way to do it is, I will keep a list, right? This is a great way to do it. Say, I will keep a list of all your names. And every time you ask a dumbass question to disrupt class, that is 10% off your grade. For the next quiz. No matter what it is. Next test, anything. You get automatically 10% off your grade. Every single question. So no matter how good you will lose a part of your grade. No matter how much you study, no matter how hard you work. So please, keep disrupting class for everybody else. But I will make sure you personally suffer for it. And I would do that. I'd make a long list of all the kids. And I would absolutely, a little check. Yep, there's 10%. There's 10%. So that means even if they got an A++, the best they're getting is a C or a D. And that's for every single disruptive moment. They make noise. They cause a disruption. They ask a dumbass question. They're on their phone. So that means no matter how hard they work, if they're going to make it harder for everyone else in the class, they're going to make it especially hard on themselves. And remind them that the first warning is getting sent out of the classroom. With none of their stuff, none of their things. They have to leave everything of their stuff in the classroom, and they have to stand outside and wait till you say they can come back in. That's what you do. Oh, the cupcake rule. This is what I call the cupcake rule. That also, because during all this stuff going on, my boss had me take her nieces and nephews to the zoo. One of her nieces and nephews is a little shit. He's a massive little shit. And when he doesn't like something, he proclaims it's too hard or big for his mouth. Now, mind you, he had just gotten through eating a whole bag of Cheetos, but I said, you got to eat real food. Okay? And I said, if you ate everything, kids, we'll all go out to cook out and we'll get milkshakes. Well, he did not want the regular food, which was soft noodles. He wanted the ice cream. So he started pushing it around and flopping the noodles on the table, literally just like this. Said, these are too hard for me to eat. I said, well, that's not a problem. You don't have to eat them, but you're not getting ice cream. Because he's not used to that. You see, my boss is not someone that leaves people out. She's afraid to. Me, I got no problem. I'll not only eat my ice cream, I'll buy a second one that was supposed to be for you and eat it in front of you. I don't care if I get a stomach ache. I will do it just to show you what you're not getting. Last in particular, because I don't know much and I was giving nothing really to go off of other than copy textbooks. We have to, that's where I can't help you on being a teacher. There's a lot of ways around it and there's a lot of nuance to it. But I will tell you in terms of discipline, oh, I got that down pat. So the thing is, if the kids don't want to listen, that is fine. Remind them you're paid to be there to help them. My oldest nephew was like that last week. Oh, yeah. And he looked at me and he didn't believe me. And I said, and then his little sister. So I was sitting here at the table. It was me, his little sister, him, his older brother, and his older sister. Okay? I'm sitting there like that. And he's over here fucking with the noodles. These two have finished their food. I finished my food, and his little sister was eating. And I said, listen, if you don't finish your food by the time she finishes hers, number one, you're going to let a 6-year-old beat you on eating. And number two, you're definitely not getting any ice cream then. Wouldn't you know he was done in 5 seconds? Wow, so shocking. So yeah, if they think they're going to miss out on something, but that's why I don't want Hunty to put herself out. I don't want Hunty to have to do something nice for the class, because then that's going to come out of her pocket. Nay. What you have to do is affect them where it's going to hurt them and make more work for them, which is their grades. Because that's the whole reason why they're there, is to get schooling. They picked those classes. Because most middle schools and high schools allow you to pick certain classes to take. If she's over there and they're not listening, they're still at that age where if they keep failing their classes, and all she's got to do, the most she has to do is keep a note of this. And that's what I would do. I would stop class every time. I would actually write down the questions that they said. Oh yeah, and I would keep a CYA file. Cover your ass. So that way, if anyone tried to claim I was lying, I've got you, bitch. You warn the whole class. If nobody wants to listen, that is cool. You guys can fail. It's not on me. And that's what I would do. And if anyone complains, I would say point blank, well, they were warned. They were warned to respect the class. Stop disrupting. They didn't want to. And that way, when the parents come at you later, you lay out the sheet and go, this is how many times your child disrupted everybody. This is how many times your child made everyone have a heart. Brain, where have you been? My school basically lets me make my curriculum. It's wild. I'm going to go check the Department of Education standards for these types of classes and see what I can take it from. Yeah. But that's what I would do if I was you, Hunty. Because I have zero zip problems holding kids accountable. Because in my personal opinion, as someone who has a plethora of nieces and nephews and has watched way too many parents have low expectation of their kids, kids are incredibly intelligent and manipulative. And they, from a very young age, have learned how to manipulate the adults around them. And when I say very young, I mean as young as 6 months old. Babies learn from a very young age, when they want something, as long as they cry enough, they'll get it. Now, within reason, that makes sense. However, there is to a point where that means they learn if anything makes them uncomfortable, and they know their parents will always, without a doubt, save them from it, the kid learns to scream and yell every time. And I see it happen over and over and over again, where little kids don't want to deal with anything. And so they would rather be held by mom and dad because that makes them happy. I'm not necessarily meaning they're doing some kind of subatomic plot here, but what I will tell you is this. They understand causation. They understand it well. And they will do whatever it takes to get the reaction that they want. I feel the manipulative part, but some of these kids genuinely seem confused by basic things I talk about. Then that's different. Because that means it's just kind of stupid. But that's a difference between, hey, I'm confused and Miss Hunty, I need extra time, to Miss Hunty, why is our nipples blue when you freeze? Like, you know, like shit like that. I know the difference in these kids and their questions. And I know that they sometimes get dared to do it. And I don't disagree with the coddling part of it. But that's where you have to teach them to do their own research. You have to teach them to learn about these basic things. There is a difference. And regrettably, it has been passed on to you because a lot of these parents were coddled as well. You have to realize that you are dealing with the results of 3 generations of coddled children. 3 generations. Because my parents' age, okay, I was had very late in life, right? For my mom and dad, in their generation, they were having kids in their late teens, early 20s. Whereas my mom and dad had me in their 30s, okay? So that makes a massive difference in my age. I should have been born in the 70s. Instead, I was born in the late 80s. Okay, so start with that. So if I had been born in the 70s, that means I actually probably would have had children in the 90s. And if I had children in the 90s, those same 90s kids would be able to have kids now. So you are actually getting the results of a lot of very liberal, very hippie people raising these kids. I feel bad because the second week it feels weird suddenly trying to reset what's been happening so far. That is every teacher's problem at the beginning of every school year. Play the rules. If you are confused, hold up your hand and I'll come to you with the class. And hey, at that point, if you need to make a set list of rules and shit like that, do it. There's a lot of ways around this. My God, Calliope made this desk a mess. But I will tell you point blank, whoever is trusting you should be especially cautious than Miss Spicy Ma'am. I'm not the teacher. Hunty is. I have been a catechism teacher in the past. But whatchamacallit, point blank, these kids, what, Calliope? No. Ma'am, you don't need to bolt across my keyboard. For fuck's sake. Point is, if you've got kids that cannot be tamed, but these kids' expectations is their grades should not be affected, that's the only way you can punish them right now. You set that standard. You set that standard point blank. If they are going to disrupt class and not only make your job harder, but make it harder for the other kids to learn, then you're going to make it harder for them to pass the class. And then the only one that suffers is them and their grade. And don't make it just for one test. Tell them that is their percentage of taking off a grade for every single test for the year until they redeem themselves. My aunt is a teacher. She would make a sign that said the rules. She would get to the point when she said, what does the board say? Yes, exactly. Leona's got it. Set rules. If I give you rules, and I would make a printout sheet and the board. If I give you rules, they're there for all to see. Then boom. That's it. I truly feel a lot of adults spend a little too much time childrening children, for lack of a better term. They baby children because they are not actually trying to do better for that child. They are trying to heal something in their inner child they felt they were deprived. People still passed her class, and she was known as the no bullshit teacher. I like her. I like the way that is. That's good. Because that's the thing. These people are not trying to fix a endemic problem or a systemic problem. They are trying to fix something they felt they were wronged in their childhood. That is the main problem that you guys are not understanding. These are people who feel that society hurt them. And rather than try to figure out the best and more balanced way, tell them that there should be an elf-foolish wand waving in this class, then tell them, yeah, that'll work. But either way, back to what I was talking about. So, they finally figure out my dad has an infection after I had to bring it up. And they get him on antibiotics. Okay? But my dad, being the stubborn old asshole that he is, he doesn't want to be in the hospital anymore. He wants to go home. Which he shouldn't. But we'll get there. My inner child bulldozed through her own trauma and didn't say shit about it. Right. But that's the problem. Too many people want to heal their inner child. And I hate it. Because now everyone's always like, my inner child, your inner child deserved to get beat. How about that? Like, at that point, in class, go. I gotta go. Bye, Mom. Bye, honey. Bye, hunty. But so anyways, with, they released my dad to go home. Against my better judgment. But they let him go home. And he wanted to be left alone for a few days. He was tired, blah, blah, blah. Cool. So I don't bother my dad too much. It's a Saturday night. 2 days after my dad had gotten out of the hospital. And mind you, during this time, me and his girlfriend installed a Ring camera into my dad's house. Because he refuses to use a life alert. He refuses to keep his hearing aids in. And he refuses to carry his phone around. And he refuses to get any kind of listening device. Okay? Which all would help him if he fell again and was unable to get to something. But I digress. He doesn't want none of that. So what I've done is I went and I installed the Ring camera. And I am paying $20 a month to make sure there's an SOS button on that Ring camera. So that way, if my dad has fallen, I can check the video. And if I haven't seen him for a while, I can press that button and send the EMTs to his house. Because otherwise, exactly. When I tell you he's stubborn, he's still, mind you, from the first time he fell, he's fallen 6 or 7 times, guys. He still refuses the life alert because he feels he doesn't need it. So I'm halfway to installing a listening device without his knowledge into the house. But baby's starting solid food. Congratulations, Fluffy Paws. And yes, but we're getting there. So it is 11:30. I am driving home from my job, okay? Which, as I said, is an hour drive, okay? I get a call from my dad's girlfriend. And she said, I'm real worried about your dad. I said, why? She said, well, I didn't realize it because he was talking to me the whole time, but I don't think he's taken any of his medications. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, I don't think your dad has taken anything since he got back from the hospital. Let me repeat, my father is a diabetic. He has to take insulin daily. And that alone he had not taken in 2 days. On top of all the other medications, because my dad has a litany of medications he's supposed to take every day. And he hadn't taken a single one in 2 days. And he barely eaten. So I rushed to my dad's house after calling my brother, flipping out, saying, this is why I didn't want him home. Because what had happened was my father would get to the table to do his medication, and his girlfriend would trust him because he wanted to be home. And she's 74 with a hip replacement, okay? So they're only a year apart in age. So his girlfriend would go and take care of her nightly routine, and dad would sit at the table and claim he did his stuff. And when she'd ask him, he'd go, yeah, I'm just tired. He never did what he needed to do. So I rushed there, and I have to check my dad's medicine. Do you want to know what my dad's sugar level was, guys? It was at 455. Because he hadn't eaten. He hadn't done none of that. And then I had to get all his medicine done up, make sure he took his medicine, forced him to eat something, and then he kicked me out of the house. So we get everything in him, and I say, I'm going to give it tonight. Okay, I'm going to give it tonight. Next morning, his sugar is balanced. Cool. Great. And my dad, after, because I straight up called him an ungrateful bastard before I left. That's close to getting a stroke. Damn straight. Mind you, he was already close to getting a stroke because of the whole, heart failure. Okay? So I was not okay. I was not happy. I went home and I had a good cry. A day and a half later, I get woken up at 4 a.m. My dad's not on oxygen. But here's what I will tell you. I get woken up at 4 a.m. by his girlfriend crying because my dad didn't want to use a walker, but he had to go to the bathroom. He got up without telling her and went to the bathroom. Never made it. Stumbled and kissed a door jamb. And got a black eye that big. It literally looked like somebody inserted a plum under his eye. He's still bruised now. But he was within his faculties. He had not fallen asleep because he had been like that for an hour while Angie tried to get him up. So my brother and I had to go over, help him up. I call out of work. I can't remember what day it was. And this was a Monday, actually. It was either a Sunday or a Monday. Okay? 2 days later, it happens again. So that following Wednesday, my dad and Angie and Matt, Starman, all went to the VA. Okay? Because dad had to get checkups. Because they were trying to get him in for these. Because by this point, mind you, he hasn't had any procedures but a heart catheter. emo when I tell you you're all going to, if you all think I'm stubborn, I want you to understand where I got it from, because you have no idea how bad this gets. Because it's still bad right now. Matter of fact, I have to leave soon. I got to finish this story, and then I got to leave because I got to take my dad to the VA, but I digress. So, they all take him out all day. Now, he is on something called Lasix. If you guys don't know what Lasix is a diuretic. That means that when you have excess liquid in you, you have to pee it out. Well, the VA overdosed him on Lasix. So he's been pissing like a racehorse. Chaco, that is the eternal question. Because he's still doing, again, you don't understand. There's still more. There's so much more. So throughout the day, he had been going to the bathroom. But again, because when he doesn't feel good, he won't eat. And, all this stuff. By the time he got home, Starman went home to take care of our animals. I was at work. My brother and his wife said Dad was... I don't know. I don't know why you brought that up right now, but it's the truth. You all know it's true. But Chaco, we tried that too, but the problem is claustrophobic would cause a heart attack. So we can't do that either. But hold on, I'm getting there. You see, my dad had started to get loopy. My brother and his wife said so. But again, we chalked it up to he is tired, da-da-da-da. And that night, he stayed up the whole night having Vietnam flashbacks. The whole night. Just gone. Brain gone. And then he gets up. Okay? Because he wants to go to the bathroom. His girlfriend tries to stop him. He throws the walker at her. Tries to stomp over to the bathroom. Once again falls. Once again hits his head. But this time he's delirious. So I get the call again. I get to the house. I had work that day. This is a Thursday morning. Okay? I get to the house. And I call the ambulance. Like, it's not even a question. He is going to the hospital now. This is a glimpse into your stubbornness, ma'am. Yeah. And my dad was delirious. He didn't know who I was. He didn't know who Starman was. He didn't know who anybody was. Anybody. He thought that his girlfriend was his ex-wife. Not my mother, my dad's ex-wife. From the 70s. He was not okay. And when they tried to pick him up to have him walk to the ambulance, he couldn't. He collapsed. So we go back to the ER in the exact same room my dad had been in not even a week and a half before. Okay? The doctors there try to treat me like shit. They said, well, your dad requested to go home. I'm like, and he shouldn't have. It doesn't matter. He should have been here. Clearly, he shouldn't have gone home. And I vehemently told them. Because you see, a lot of this is similar to what happened to my mother. But this time, I was in charge. And I wasn't letting my dad go with negligence. So I took the reins. I was with my dad the whole day. The whole day. And I ensured things were taken care of. I told them, do not wake him up. Only give him lean, high protein. So eggs, ensures, da-da-da. I do not have power of attorney. The only reason I have any power is because I'm blood related to him and I am his child. We get to the hospital. It took my dad another day and a half to recover his mental faculties. Because he was so severely dehydrated, his kidneys were shutting down. Mind you guys, I am still gleaning. There is so many things that happened during this time related to his heart and his organs and everything else, but I don't have the time to go over all that. And the only reason my dad is okay is because my Uncle Gary literally called and reamed out the VA. My brother and I have been attentive, and my dad's girlfriend has been on the phone constantly. There was a team behind my dad. Whereas last time, my mother, it was just my dad who was getting worn down and wore out. We made sure this time that my dad's stubbornness would not get in the way, because I looked at the doctor and I said, he cannot and will not go home. We cannot care for him. We all work full-time jobs. We have other responsibilities. You will not send him home. The only person at my house that can care for my dad is a 74-year-old woman with a hip replacement. You will not put that stress on her. You will not put that pain on her. You will take care of my father. And I stressed this. And one night, they decided not to let my dad sleep. And the next day, when they tried to get him to do any physical therapy, he nearly collapsed and he nearly threw up. And I got right on the phone with the nurse and I said, I tried to tell you. This is perfect. This is exactly why. Right here. You just proved me right. Well, because I was pulling all that, along with the entire team behind us, the doctor, the cardiologist in charge at my local hospital, who's the only one with a functioning fucking brain, petitions for my dad to go to one of the major hospitals in Charlotte that is known for their very quick, very expedient, and very skilled heart operations. And my dad gets his transfer. The next day, he gets 2 stents put into his heart. But he's still not okay. So then, they get his ventricle replaced. Now, mind you, my dad had been getting stubborn and all sorts of stupid stuff while he was in there, but thankfully, there was a pile of nurses to stop him. When I tell you, learn from the death of my mom and the current situation of my dad, never, ever, ever be complacent in medical emergencies. Keep an eye on things, and to the best of your abilities, you be a corporate bitch. Because I never swore at them. I never screamed at them. I didn't. I said, I told you guys, I'm not. And I would say it just like this. I say, listen, I understand you're just doing your job. I understand you are calling me. Oh, excuse me. Hold on, guys. It looks like I am out of time because they told me the wrong time frame. That was my dad just now. That's why I had the phone right here just in case. Point blank, my dad has fallen twice since he got home because he demanded they send him home. He demanded they send him home. And because he didn't want to go to a rehab facility. And now, while my dad is much better than he was before, he should have gone to a rehab facility. So use me as an example, guys. But that was just my dad. Apparently, we got to get going now to the VA, which is only 20 minutes down the road. I don't know why, because the appointment's not until 3:30. I believe we're a little over on time, but that's okay. I love you guys. I'm sorry, but I drop everything for my dad. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for listening to me. Thank you guys for venting. But I want you to take away from this that one, you need to be active and present when your family or you. Is your dad prone to sundowning? I don't know what that means. He's doing well. He's doing better than before, but that's different. Just guys, that's what I will say to you. Be there, be present, and be vigilant. Because they may want to do their job, but at the end of the day, you and your family member are one part of that job. They don't care like you will care. They don't have the time to. So don't be stupid and don't be complacent. But I love you guys. I appreciate you all. Thank you for listening. Remember to tell people important to you that you love them to be safe. So guys, I love every single one of you. Be safe. Chaco, thank you for the $60 donation. I will talk to you all soon. I will try to stream